More people flocked to parks on the first weekend of Metro Manila under COVID-19 Alert Level 1. An envoy has been ordered to return home after his wife was seen campaigning for a presidential bet. And a low-pressure area is expected to bring heavy to intense rains in some parts of the country. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. We begin the newscast with Pag-asa continuing to monitor a weather disturbance inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Let's get more details. We have weather forecaster Alzar Aurelio joining us over the phone. Sir Aurelio, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Sir, first off, we'd like to know the current location of this low-pressure area.
Well, as of the 7 o'clock in the evening, the center of the low pressure area was spotted at 205 kilometers east of Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur. And this low pressure area has low chance to develop into a tropical depression. But as of this moment, it brings cloudy sky with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly on Visayas and also in Zamboanga del Norte, Caraga, and in coming few days or coming 2 to 3 days, Palawan will have cloudy sky due to a low pressure area.
Sir Aurelio, again to clarify, you're saying there is a very low chance that this LPA could intensify perhaps into a typhoon?
Yes, it maintains low chance to develop into a tropical depression, but this low pressure area will continue to bring cloudy skies with rains, scattered rain showers, and thunderstorm over Visayas, Caraga, Northern Mindanao, also over Zamboanga del Norte, and Palawan.
Final question, sir. Would there be any other weather disturbance we're seeing in the radar?
Well, within 5 days, there's no other disturbance such as low pressure area. So we continue to monitor this low pressure area that we are monitoring. Will continue to bring rains and thunderstorm over Visayas, Mimaropa, and some part over Mindanao in the coming 2 to 3 days.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us those information. That's Pag-asa weather forecast or weather specialist, Mr. Alzar Aurelio. Meanwhile, some families are taking advantage of eased COVID-19 restrictions to go to parks and other recreational venues in Metro Manila. Camille Samonte has the report.
Following Metro Manila's shift to COVID-19 Alert Level 1, families and friends were seen strolling and even having picnic at the Luneta Park on Sunday. The park is now open at 100% capacity. Angie and her friends took advantage of this to finally have their class reunion, but they still made sure that all of them are fully vaccinated and didn't have COVID-19 symptoms.
Kaya nga sabi namin, bawal ang may sipon, may ubo. Kasi pwede po siyang magkaroon ng hawaan kasi tatanggalin mo yung mask mo, kakain ka.
Susan, meanwhile, brought her kids for some physical activities.
Mas maganda po kung dito sa park, ayan, medyo nakakaano ng hangin. Tsaka yung activities, almost 2 years, lagi lang sa gadgets eh. So parang hindi maganda. Ngayon napapawisan na sila, very active.
The Manila Ocean Park was also jam-packed with children as more attractions are now open. One of those is the park's Sea Lion Show. Visitors are now allowed to be seated close to each other and eat during the show. Families also enjoyed taking pictures in the oceanarium where different kinds of fish can be seen. However, crowd control is still being implemented in the area due to limited space. Some parents are now confident to bring their kids outside since most of them are fully vaccinated.
Dahil sa sobrang tagal nung lockdown, hindi na sila nakakapunta or hindi na nakakapamasyal, nakakita ng mga ibang yung mga marine life, yung iba't ibang klase ng fishes. Yun. So mostly nakikita na lang nila sa YouTube.
The Manila Ocean Park Management said there is no significant increase yet in the number of visitors, but they expect it to increase due to field trips once more face-to-face classes are allowed.
Manila Ocean Park is really about conservation, taking good care of our animals, and educating the younger generation so that they have a very good experience and they will become also the protector of the environment.
Although the park is operating at full capacity, the management assured the public that wearing of face masks and frequent sanitation are being done. Visitors are also urged to buy tickets online so they can skip the queues. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
The Health Department logs over 800 new COVID-19 infections, less than 1,000 for the fifth consecutive day. Now, the Octa Research Group says the decrease in cases could be attributed to two factors. Research fellow Guido David told One News Now that the relatively lower number is caused by high vaccination rate. He added that the immunity from the infection of those who got exposed to the Omicron variant is a possible reason too.
But we do know that after about 3 months, this immunity may decrease. And that's why having booster shots is still very important to protect our population.
On the possibility of another surge, David said that it may happen if a new variant emerges or through waning of immunity from jabs. With this, he warned against complacency and reminded everyone that the virus is still very much present.
Even though cases are low right now, as mentioned, people should still be mindful of public health standards to prevent a possible surge in cases, especially if the vaccine efficacy starts to wane.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Foreign Affairs Department has ordered Philippine Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Adnan Alonto, to return to country. This came after his wife was filmed apparently campaigning for presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos. Let's talk more about this with election lawyer. Attorney Enrique Buco de la Cruz is joining us via Zoom this evening. Attorney Buco, good evening.
Good evening, Riza, and to your viewers.
Sir, would like to know, first off, what does our law say about electioneering among embassy or government officials and their families for that matter?
The governing law is Article 261, Paragraph I of the Omnibus Election Code, which prohibits members of the civil service, including the armed forces, from engaging in partisan political activity or campaigning for or against any specific candidates. It is considered as an election offense. No? So bawal sa mga permanenteng empleyado ng pamahalaan na miyembro ng civil service ang mangampanya pabor o laban sa sino mang kandidato.
So, attorney, meron po bang posibleng maging pananagutan or penalty in that case for Ambassador Alonto?
Yun ang hindi ko maintindihan sa facts, Riza, kung yung asawa niya ang nangangampanya at hindi naman miyembro ng civil service ang asawa niya, dapat ay wala itong pananagutan. No? Dahil the prohibition applies only to members of the civil service. So if it is the wife who is campaigning and the wife is not a member of the civil service, then I don't think she should be punished. Neither should the husband be punished for the acts of the wife.
Okay, another issue, attorney. Would like to get your reaction to Cavite Solon Boying Remulla accusing this time Kakampings of being bayaran and going as far as red tagging them.
Yan ay bahagi na. No? This is part of the political circus. No? Although as much as possible, we don't want to engage in mudslingings and name callings, but we have to accept that this is part of the game, no? Part of the election season. So my advice is that the kakamping should not be onion skinned. No, it's a part of the process. But of course, we call on our public officials to live up to their title of honorable, no? Honorable members of Congress, honorable members of the local legislation. So they should act as honorably as possible, and we should avoid mudslingings and name calling.
So, to clarify also, attorney, there's no existing law that prohibits our public servants of such acts.
Yes, yung name calling siguro would fall under some other offenses but not partisan political activity. No? If you take a look at the law, under Article 261 of the Omnibus Election Code, may exception yan eh. Those holding political offices are allowed to express their opinions. Campaign for or against officials, pwede sila. So itong mga congressmen, mga elected local officials, senators, no? Those holding political offices like appointees of the president, dahil hindi naman sila miyembro ng civil service, sila ay mga coterminous with the president, yung mga yan ay allowed to engage in partisan political activity. So hindi ho bawal. Ang pinagbabawalan lang po, no, the prohibition applies only to civil service employees.
Understood. Attorney, Vice President Robredo is also being accused of using the church for propaganda. Can you elaborate and educate us more on the legal grounds of religious endorsements?
Okay. There is a separation of church and state under our Constitution, but that separation of church and state prohibits the state from interfering in religious affairs. Ang pinagbabawalan po ay ang Estado sa pakikialam sa mga internal na usapin ng simbahan. Pero wala pong pumipigil sa ating batas, no? Sa mga simbahan na makilahok sa politika. Dahil yung pong mga miyembro ng simbahan ay miyembro din ng ating komunidad. Sila po ay botante, sila po ay pwedeng tumakbo sa ilalim ng ating batas, sila po ay pwedeng bumoto, at sila rin po ay pwedeng magpahayag ng kanilang opinyon. No? So members of the church, including the church itself, are free, no, to campaign for or against any candidate that they think does not embody their teachings or moral standards. That is, they are within their rights. No? Nasa tama po silang lugar. Wala hong batas. There is no law that prohibits them from campaigning for or against any candidate.
All right. Thank you very much, Attorney, for sharing with us your time this evening. That was election lawyer, Attorney Enrique Buco de la Cruz. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.